All right, Wade, thanks so much for joining us. Would you mind introducing yourself and giving us a sense of what your background is?
Sure. So currently I'm the founder and CTO of Verblio. We are a content marketplace with kind of a very SaaS flair to it. I have been in the technology marketplace ever since I graduated CU with an aerospace engineering degree at the bottom of the aerospace engineering field. It was back when no one could imagine, we were just coming out of the Cold War and no one could imagine the need of fighter jets anymore. So I went into programming with Accenture. And I worked with them, cut my consulting teeth with them, and then went out independent and worked for a lot of large telecom companies building back-end systems. Found that work engaging and very, very fun in the 90s. And then I turned my eye towards startups. Joined a startup in 2000, went on for a year, and then some things happened. Then cut my teeth more with DoubleClick, and then a few more startups after that. But always in a technological role and developing software and databases.
Would you mind just telling us a little bit more about what you do with Verblio and what Verblio is?
Absolutely. So we started Verblio back in 2010, myself and my co-founder. Back then, content marketing was hardly even an idea, but Google was very forthcoming in saying how they were going to be changing their search algorithms. And so back then, you focused a lot on SEO, and they kept on talking about, and back then backlinks were very important, but there was a growing concept that the content you had on your website was going to be of growing importance, and Google was going to develop better and better algorithms to determine how interested people were in consuming this content you're producing and changing their rank algorithms that way. So the idea was hatched that we could do something that was recurring, which was key for our growth and our success. And that pointed us towards blogging. And back then, blogging largely consisted of what your cat was eating for breakfast, but there was also a lot going on in the business world of business blogging and what's going on in your business and why people should be coming and listening to you as an expert. So we started delivering one blog post a week. And as time grew on, Google got more and more savvy about the quality of content and searcher intent and how long people would stay on your site. So the demands for content quality got driven up. So it used to be a numbers game of how much content you had, and it has shifted over the last 10 years to be how much of an expert you are and how much people are engaging with the content you're producing. So Verblio fills this with a marketplace of writers. We have got thousands of writers that are subject matter experts, that are generalists from every industry. We've had vegan marshmallows, we have tax accountants, we have healthcare workers. It runs the gambit. So we try to make it as easy as possible for businesses who are consumed with the day-to-day dealings of how to run their business and making it much easier for them to get the content that is so important for them to be able to be found on the internet to their websites.
Well, you've had a fascinating journey. It sounds like you've had to pivot several times. Can you tell us about one specific challenge that you faced and maybe how you begun to overcome that?
It occurs to me that a lot of us are facing challenges right now. We're in the middle of the COVID-19 lockdown. I'm talking from my COVID bunker in the basement of my house right now. But it reminds me a lot of I mentioned that I was in a startup in 2000. That went for a year. It ended in the summer of 2001. And I took 2 months off at the end of that to regroup and recuperate. I started my job search on September 10th, 2001. And it went spectacularly well for a day. Everyone wanted to talk to me. I was a really hot commodity and it looked like it was going to go great. Then I woke up the next morning, I believe it's Tuesday, September 11th, and I think we all know what happened that day, and hiring froze. And it didn't just drop off, it dropped off a cliff. No one was calling me back. There was nothing to do. Everything was a dead end. And so I was faced with, mounting bills and having to find a position, but there were no positions to be found. And it might be very similar to the job market of today. It doesn't seem like it's fallen off a cliff yet, but definitely downward pressure on hiring. And so what do you do to overcome that in a down market? And I think I faced one of the toughest down markets back then. And I really turned to my network. And back then I really only had a network of friends to turn to, because I hadn't made those deep business connections that I have now. So I started asking my friends for positions and what they were doing, and more importantly, I think, than asking my friends, because my friends weren't really hiring either, but my friends knew people and had those business contacts that I hadn't developed yet. So they were happy to put me in touch with them because they knew my reputation for being, a very savvy worker. And that's how I actually met my business partner that I started Verblio with. Was a mutual friend of ours put us together for a company that he had done back then called My Traffic News. And so I started working with him on that, and we grew that, sold that off, started another company in between, and then started Verblio. So it was the start of a really good and meaningful partnership.
That's great, and that's a heck of a pivot to go from job searching to starting a company. What are some of the more important resources? You mentioned networks.
Yeah.
Is there anything in particular that you could advise people going through similar challenges to look to?
So specifically, like I said, reach out to your friends, or business contacts. If you have business contacts, those are the best places to start. But more importantly than reaching out to them, ask them who you should be talking to. Because if you can multiply your network off of who your network knows, it will be all the more effective. And you should be hitting this as if it was your full-time job. It can't just be casually going out for drinks every once in a while, but you should be making a list of your top contacts, contacting them regularly, and finding out who you can bring in to talk to from their contact lists of who they think might be good for you to talk to. Yeah.
Great. Well, look forward to having you hopefully talk at a Business for Breakfast for TiE. Can people reach out to you through Verblio to get in touch if they have any follow-up questions?
Absolutely. My name is Wade, W-A-D-E, at verblio.com. Feel free to drop me a line, and I'll see if I can help you out in any way.
All right. Well, thanks so much for talking to me. Appreciate your help.
Thank you very much.
Mentorship Minutes are just one way TiE Denver fosters Colorado entrepreneurship. We're part of a global network of 60 chapters with over 15,000 members. Our goal is to be the leading mentorship organization, providing connections, capability, and capital for Colorado entrepreneurs.